Welcome to the 235th episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today we are recording on June 1st, 2021. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and 50% of this here show with me is the man who's heading out of town, Carlos Rodella.
I'm packing up the bags and I'm getting out of town.
That's my favorite song.
I just made it up.
I love it.
Also, 2021.
In the future.
Where aliens exist, by the way. Aliens exist now.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Multiple people have said this. How crazy is it that we are living in a time when the government has confirmed UFOs and we all just don't fucking care because we've got other shit going on?
There's other stuff to do. Yeah, we got problems. We got other things.
That is insane. If you had told me 10 years ago that the government would confirm UFOs and no one would give a single fuck, I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. It's gotta be the biggest story of the year. What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
Nope. Oh my God. It's not even on the radar. It is not even on anybody's radar. We gave a collective shrug and nobody cared.
Well, we'll have to tackle that in a future episode because that is a topic to its own.
Man, that is insane. That's still insane to me. Anyway, yes, here we are. You're heading out of town, which is why we are recording a little bit early. People who are very careful listeners and who may be looking at a calendar when they listen to our show will look at this and go, wait a minute. Brad and Carlos are recording early. What is going on here?
Wait, but how can they see? Are they like watching us?
Because we say the date at the beginning of every show. If they hear us say the date and then they look at the calendar, they will know, those amateur sleuths out there in listener land, that we usually record on Wednesdays, and it is now Tuesday. So we are a full 24 hours early. What gives?
We're jumping back in the past instead of the future.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know what we're doing.
I'm going to get some relics, bring them back with me to the present, and sell them for lots of money.
Yeah, I'm just going to go down to Portland. That's all that's really happening. There's no like weird future, past moments.
No time travel.
Yeah, but just going to see the family for the first time in, forever. So that's going to be good. And when I come back, I'll be all full of Portland stories.
Excellent. Sounds good. All right, cool. Well, that is our traditional opening. Let's get on to the, I guess, our first bit before we get to the main event. Keeping the house, as we all know, we share a house that's divided down the middle with a line of duct tape. I got nothing on my side. My side is spotless. What do you got this week, Carlos?
I have two things, just two things. Nice and clean, pretty much clean.
Not too bad. You've been
organized.
Picking up,
I got some boxes finally. I put things in where they're supposed to be.
Is it a sock? Don't tell me it's a sock.
The thing that I have to talk about?
Yes, yeah.
No, because I only have one of those and the other one's missing.
it's behind
I don't
want
to talk about my socks.
There you go. Okay.
By the way, there's a tangent. Why that happens, I have no idea.
Mystery.
No, so two kind of video reveals happened, I think, between the last podcast, and one of them was Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, that was one. Well, three, actually, if you count that one.
Yeah. What was the other two? Well, I'll get to the other two that I'm thinking of. Horizon Forbidden West, which I don't like the title. I think I was telling you this on Twitter, but before the event started to show gameplay, they put up 5 hours of B-roll.
You mentioned that, and I thought you were joking. I thought you were pulling my leg, because who puts up 5 hours of B-roll before an event?
Yeah, and I thought it was a joke, too, because I was like waiting for it to show up at that time that they said they were going to show gameplay. I don't know. Somebody messed something up. Expectations were missed. So we're all just standing there like at B-roll that doesn't even change much. It was like very, very like similar.
Sure.
Just like different angles of the same scene. And I was like, okay, I'm not watching this anymore. But once that was over, which was weird, they did show a ton of gameplay.
Did you watch all 5 hours of the B-roll?
No, I did not. I'm not a completionist in that way.
There could have been a secret in there, like only the most faithful fans would have caught, that in the exact middle of that 5 hours, they gave a spoiler for the story, and you would have seen it if you were a true fan.
By the way, I wouldn't have wanted to see it.
Fair point.
Yeah, because I don't want to know anything about this game, besides the fact that how it looks, I guess, a little bit. And I did watch it, and it looks great. I mean, it looks like the game, Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks really, really good. And it was funny because of the whole demo they're showing them using Aloy and she's doing all her bow and arrow stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, as soon as I get that game, I'm just going to max my stats for melee.
I was gonna say you're gonna use the hatchet or the
I'm
axe
never
or the
even going
sword
to
or
touch
whatever.
that. Yeah, never going to touch that bow and arrow. I'm going to pick up the spear, upgrade it to 1,000,000, and just go take out dinosaurs. Like, that's what I did last game.
Upgraded to 1,000,000.
1,000,000. That's the max stat level. So that looks really cool. Did you see some of it?
No, I actually don't really care for Horizon Zero Dawn, so I just didn't even bother.
Well, I want more of it, and it's more of it.
Cool.
The other one was Far Cry.
Far Cry
6?
6, yes.
They also showed B-roll before, and I was like, "Is this a troll? Are they trolling us hard?"
All the PR people get together before the events, and they all kind of agreed to do the same thing this year?
Yeah, I don't understand. So I didn't watch that again. It happened. It just showed B-roll for a long time. And then they did show a lot of Far Cry. Like, what's really cool is you play as a female protagonist, obviously very similar in the idea of taking over, joining a revolution, doing the things you would do in a Far Cry game. But it all looked really good, and you're playing a female protagonist, which I like, and there's a gun that shoots CDs that play the Macarena song.
That's interesting.
A real thing.
That's interesting.
And there's a puppy for some reason in a wheelchair.
I saw that. His name is Chorizo, I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that. I have the last Far Cry game I played. God, I think it was probably the Ice Age one. What is the one? Oh my God! It's like I really loved it. It was the one where you're a caveman. What is that one called?
Oh my goodness, that one. Yeah, I've played once past that. That's the
yeah.
Let's just call it Far Cry Caveman. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm blanking on what the name of it is, but that is the one I like. Far Cry Primal.
Right.
That is the great one. I thought that was great, and then I kind of like maxed out on my Far Cry after that. I felt like I'm good, and I mean, maybe I'll jump into this one. It's been a while, but I kind of feel like they're all the same game, right? I mean, they just kind of changed the scenario a little bit. The PR always says, "Oh, this game is not political," blah blah blah. They have the same MO for like every Far Cry that comes out, and I haven't played the last couple. Maybe it's time to jump back in, but it's going to be the same thing, right? It's going to be like taking over bases. It's going to be some cutscenes. I mean, it's going to be, political insurrection. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, I just find something new out of each one of them. Also, if you want that loop, which I talk about a lot on podcasts, which is like, you're just in the mood for that loop of taking over bases, and they do it really well, and it's always, pretty damn good first-person shooter type game.
Sure.
But also, I like New Dawn because it really did add a really interesting story and kind of a follow-up story. The whole Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, and I don't know. I get stuck into those stories, and when you're playing a first-person game, lots of times you do, feel ownership over if the team is going to make it out of whatever story is happening. So
sure.
I'm in for it. I also want to use that gun that shoots the Macarena.
It's too bad there's not a gun that shoots other guns. That would be pretty cool.
That's probably a thing somewhere.
I'm sure someone has done that. I'm sure someone has.
Yeah. What's the other one that you saw?
Dying Light 2. Stay
Human.
Human.
I watched that too. You're right.
Yeah, that was the big reveal. That was the one that I actually made the time to go watch. Me and the wife played through the original Dying Light. Like 99% of it we played in co-op, and the 1% we didn't play was the part where they force you separate to do like the cutscenes and all that QTE garbage.
Oh yeah.
So we did like 99% of the game together, and I am up for more of this. I really like Dying Light a lot. I think it's very good, and my wife really likes it a lot. And I would 100% want to do more co-op with her because my wife is awesome. She's a great game player, and I like doing a big campaign like that as a team, like where you really got to dig in and like work together, is pretty cool. And I don't find many games where that level of cooperation clicks with us. I mean, Monster Hunter for sure. But Dying Light was another really big one for us. We both really loved it a lot, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks really cool. I don't think the thing that they're trying to sell everybody on is that you'll change the world so much by your actions. We just know that that's not going to be a big of a deal. So I'm not getting my expectations up at all for that. It seems like if you help certain factions, you'll get different weapons. The base will look different. Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about, like you said, we just enjoy the worlds they make. And I think that parkour stuff.
The parkour is great.
It's so good. They added, what they said, 200 animations or something?
Something crazy like that.
Something crazy. Yeah. So, like, I am all about huge cars driving by my window.
I'm all about that, too. I love that.
That's all I can't wait till I move and we don't have to make that a point of the podcast. But I didn't, by the way, I hate them so much. I don't hate anyone, but I hate those people. And if you have a fast car and you like to drive really loud, come at me in the comments. I don't care. Just
people,
don't try.
People with loud cars, please leave a comment and come at us.
No, here's the thing. People with loud cars who decide that it's fun to drive really, really loud through a small town, then please come at me because I have lots of words for you.
We get those too out here. We get people coming through. I mean, my neighborhood is pretty good. And at nighttime, every once in a while, usually the weekend, some a-hole will like turn up his fucking shitty music like as loud as it'll possibly go. And it can't be good, right? Because if you're inside that car, that music is so loud.
Garbage. Yeah.
It's got to be painful, right? And then the car is real loud. They're driving past my street at like 40 miles over the limit, just like burning up the road with their shitty music playing. Like, I mean, I guess if your dick is that small, you really got to do all that stuff to make people think you're a badass. Go ahead, but you just look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's probably partly that, and it's also just that bravado that is wrong in this country. But anyways, that's a tangent.
Big tangent.
But yes, Dying Light 2, I want more of it. I want more Dying Light, and it's going to be great.
Right on, right on. Anything else on your side of the house there?
House is freaking clean.
Cool. I got nothing on my side, so let's just roll ahead with the main event, the meat and potatoes, the main course of the show. Couple of games lined up as per usual. Carlos, we're going to start with you this time around. Mutazione, which is a game. It's a 2D kind of hand-drawn game coming from somewhere. I'm going to embarrass myself, like in the that region of the country that I can never get straight. Like it's like Sweden or maybe Denmark or somewhere over there, perhaps. I apologize. I can never remember where those games are from. But I love those people. Love their games. The developers, I think it's called
Die Gute Fabrik.
Die Gute Fabrik or something. I
Die
apologize.
I'm
sure we're slaughtering
we
that.
Can't
I apologize.
Yeah.
But I played this one. I definitely have thoughts on it. But why don't you tell us all about Mutazione?
And by the way, you're saying it, I guess, correctly because I didn't know how to say that either. Mutazione.
They tweeted a couple days ago what the official pronunciation was, and I double-checked that. So that is the pronunciation.
Great. And then we just messed up the developer's name, so I apologize. And by the way, the publisher is Akupara Games.
Yeah.
And they did Darkside Detective.
Oh, did they? I love that. I love Darkside Detective.
They published that. So
they've got good taste.
Yeah. So this whole game, it feels like, to me, like a Wes Anderson thing. If you're familiar with the filmmaker Wes Anderson, he does these very like huge kind of scenes, and they're all kind of artistic, and the font even looks similar to Wes Anderson. And there's like really big like set pieces, and then he likes to zoom out and like just look at the scene for a little while. So I feel like this game has a lot of those moments in it. But what the game is 2D. It looks like cartoony style or watercolor painting style.
Yeah.
And it's an adventure game, but also it's described as a mutant soap opera where small town gossip meets the supernatural. Basically, a town got hit by a meteor a long time ago, and a bunch of people died, but the people who survived kind of turned into mutants. And I really like how this village just exists, where everybody's kind of just okay with, crazy looking creatures everywhere. And it's more about like, we're not looking at the creatures for being creatures. We're just like, it's a soap opera.
It literally does not even matter that they are all mutants. It has nothing to do with the story. It has zero relevance. They just are mutants, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. And the story is you play as a girl, Kai, and she's going back to basically help her grandfather who's dying. I guess basically just, see him before he dies. I won't say anything about the story itself besides that she's going back for helping him, but then she gets drawn into this town. I haven't finished the game, but I played quite a bit of it. And, she meets a lot of characters. She builds relationships. There's a lot of slow, quiet moments, which I'm not sure if you'll like, but I do like because this game, similar to another game on on the podcast today, reminds me of Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods, where you're just the cats and you're kind of just talking a bunch. So, in my opinion, this is a talky game. It's a lot of like
very talky, yes.
Oxenfree, which I know you hate, and Night in the Woods, which I love, and I really do like the art style. And it reminded me of Wes Anderson in ways that they build some of the scenes out. And I do like how the character moves too, because some of these 2D games I don't like the movement, but it actually feels pretty fluid. So. It's a quick review for me. I haven't finished it. I like it. It's not blowing me away. I have a feeling you hate it, but I hope you don't.
Oh, Carlos.
Oh, young one. Oh, Padawan.
So the thing, I'm just gonna spoil it. I love Mutazione. I think this is a great game. It's wonderful. It was one of the top 10 games the year it came out.
Wait, when did it come out then? I'm playing it late on the
Um,
PlayStation right now.
it was either 1 or 2 years ago. I don't remember which, but yeah, it was 100% of my top 10 when it came out. It is a
Oh,
wonderful, wonderful game.
surprise, surprise.
The thing I like about it, number one, the art style is great. I think the writing is really good, but the thing that I like is that they really capture like the humanity, and it's ironic to say that because they're all non-human mutants or whatever. But like I said earlier, it totally doesn't matter. Like this game would still work if they were humans. Like them being mutants has basically nothing to do with it. It's just about living in a small community, and that's the thing that really connected with me because I have lived in a small community and I know what it feels like to have a very small number of people that you interact with, and sometimes you like them and that's great, that works out well. When you don't like somebody, you can't really do much about it because you're going to be in close proximity. You have to like work with that person because you know you're going to see them again, and so you have to kind of develop this like quiet peace even though you may not like each other that much. And that's kind of an interesting thing that isn't explored in games very much. That's also not a very American thing, I don't think, because the country
Mm.
is so large, people can just get up and move, and sometimes cities are so huge you can like live in a place for 6 months and never see the same person twice. And the small town thing isn't a very typical approach to content from the American perspective, I don't think. It
Which, by the
adds.
way, just real quick tangent. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
did like also about Night in the Woods, because it was just like this little teeny town that she came back to,
yeah,
after
yeah.
college, and it was like, hey, we know all these people. That's the person who runs the video store, and yeah, I was getting the same kind of vibes from this game, where like that's the person who runs the bar, etc.
Yeah, I mean, similar for sure. So I definitely like that a lot. I think that is really cool. And also, what I really like about it is that it's short. It is exactly as long as it needs to be. I feel like everything that you do is pretty impactful. Lots of smart choices. Like the developers kind of changed the coding of some of the text. So if you want to just move ahead of the story, you know which messages to choose. If you want to spend some time and talk more, then you know which ones to choose to draw the conversation out, which I thought was great. Really respectful of your time. There's also a gardening mini game which gives the player something else to do besides talk, which is a
Mm.
place where Night in the Woods kind of fell down. I felt like it was way too much talk and not enough of anything else. So doing the gardening, I think, is great. It's just a really quick break from what you're doing, and I just really enjoyed all the sections. And I thought it was just not too hard, and it was just something just fun to do, and it was really peaceful and chill. So I thought that was really good. And overall, I just really love this game a lot. It really connected with me. I really love the characters. I felt like it had something to say. I felt like it said it successfully. Looks great, plays great. I loved it. Mutazione is excellent. I would recommend anybody who likes this podcast would probably like this game.
That's a surprise to me, just because it is so close to some other games that I like and you don't like. So
Yeah,
it's that sweet spot then, which is great.
it is right in the middle. Yeah, I didn't like Oxenfree, didn't like Night in the Woods, but I think Mutazione is marvelous.
Yeah, and I also, not to disagree, but I do think that the mutants actually do play a role is from the character or from the player's perspective. So for me, just like looking at it, right?
Hmm.
It did feel like it changed my perspective a bit on the town. Like it made it more fantastical.
Sure,
And I think I enjoyed it a little more because of that. And also like she has dreams, and there's also kind of like monstery type people in those dreams.
sure.
So there's definitely that fantastical element that I liked, because some of the stuff is pretty dark or like sad,
It is. Yeah. Well, yeah. I
So
mean, I agree with you, and I think that the crux of it is, I mean, number one, I think it helps them look more visually distinct to the player. So I agree with you there. Like it gives a kind of magical feel, but also it's easy to remember. Like, oh, you're the big green guy. Oh, you're the cat girl. Oh, you're the so and so, because that it just visually like it's easier to tell them apart.
oh
But
right, yeah.
when you get to the problems that they're having, like none of them are like, oh, I'm a mutant because I got 3 thumbs and I feel bad about myself. It's always like
Right.
I'm building a boat and I'm struggling with that, or like I'm arguing with my spouse and I'm having trouble with that, or like, oh, I broke up with a friend and I want to get back together with them. It's all like human problems. So like the problem isn't that they have like an extra leg or whatever. It's just that like I am a mutant, but I also have marital issues, and the
Yeah.
marital issue is really the crux of it, right?
Yeah, but again, which is so weird, that is another similarity with Night in the Woods, just to bring it up one more time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're cats and there's like different animals and foxes, and no one cares that they're animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, it's great. So we both are saying it's great, and I'm just replaying it now. I remembered him not playing it on a PlayStation. I'm playing it on Xbox, because I think it
Xbox.
came up on the Game Pass, I want to say.
Oh, maybe I gotta check in. Today's like Tuesday. I gotta see what's new on all the consoles.
Yeah, that was yesterday. I'll check today too. But anyways, we both like it. Check it out.
Mutazione is great. All right, cool. What I am bringing to the show first is a brand new game called Crossbow Crusade. This just hit the Switch, I think, a couple days ago, so it's pretty much brand new. It is a 2D pixel-based action platformer, not a roguelike in any way. You play a guy who, I don't know, he's just like a dude in a long trench coat with a hat. He's got a crossbow. I mean, he kind of just looks like, I don't know, Vampire Hunter or something like that, roughly. And the point of the game, I don't really know what the story is. The story is like evil happened and it's up to you to fix it, basically. So don't come to this game for the story. You progress from left to right, shooting, zombies, skeletons, bats, whatever. You have infinite ammo in your crossbow, and that's fine. But the hook to this game is that when you shoot your arrow and it sticks in something, whether that is a cliffside or on the side of a box, or maybe there's a corpse suspended from a rope, you can shoot your arrow into that. Your arrow becomes a platform for just like a few seconds. So like sometimes you'll get to like you'll get to like a chasm or something, or a gap, and you can't cross it. But if you shoot an arrow and at something, it becomes a platform for like 5 seconds, jump on it and get across. So that's kind of the hook of this game. I have played at least 2 or 3 games that have exactly the same hook of shoot an arrow and step on it. And it just keeps coming up and coming up. And I got to say, none of them have nailed it. And not even this one. I think this one's okay so far. I'm very early, only like in the first couple levels. But the thing about these games, and I don't know if they all come from the same part of the country, or from the world, excuse me. I seem like most of these come from like Eastern Europe. I don't know why. Maybe this is like a theme over there. Or maybe they actually do use crossbow bolts as steps.
Or maybe
in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, maybe this actually happens over there.
This is like a common thing. This is actually like a slice of life title in Eastern Europe, perhaps.
Right.
But like every single one that I've played always has weird physics and like bad physics. So like in this particular one, this is probably the best of the ones I've played, but it is not great because your guy's jump does not have enough float. And that sounds kind of weird, but getting a jump that feels good is like a fucking science, right? Like Miyamoto nails it with Mario. Like every Mario jump is like, intuitively how long to push that button, and he feels like he's in the air for the exact amount of time, and you got a very high degree of control. If you mess with the weight and the floatiness of a jump, it can feel really terrible sometimes.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and this one, I feel like the guy is too heavy. Like he does not float just the proper, quarter of a second or whatever it is, and it feels a little bit harsh. And the weight of him, he feels like he's kind of heavy, and so it doesn't have the proper like flow state when you're playing a platformer. When you just like intuitively are doing it, it's like I have to like really kind of work to be like, okay, wait, how far is he going to jump? Shit, he's not too far. And then like you're kind of managing it a little bit more than I like. I feel like the physics are not great, and I'm kind of curious about that because, like I said, that's a very common thing with all these crossbow stair-stepping games. I don't know why they all feel like that, but they do.
All these crossbow stair-stepping
There's at least 4 or 5 of them, and I've played every single one because I think it's a cool idea. But they all do the same thing. Like none of them feel properly floaty, and I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the challenge. Are all the developers just they're not good at programming platformers? Like why do they all feel this way? Because they all don't feel great. So
yeah, no, I'm not going to give them a pass on that because I've made platformers, and like you said, getting that jump is 100% the main thing you need to do if you have a jump in a game. Because look at Super Meat Boy or something like that, where it can be really difficult or it can be challenging jumping on crossbows, right? But you got to be able to like give the player a chance and let them mess it up. So yeah,
exactly. Like if you're going to do a platformer, you need to nail the physics. Like that is, like you just said, job number 1. If you're doing a platformer, platforming has to feel good, and it doesn't quite get there in this one. I'm still playing it. I'm chipping away a couple levels a night. It's okay so far, but I feel like if the difficulty creeps up a little bit, then it'll be too hard. Plus, I'm fighting the mechanics, and that's too much, right? I can only fight one of those battles at a time. So I'm in it for now, but I suspect I probably will not finish it. We'll see how it goes. But so far, this is one more in the crossbow stair-stepping genre. Crossbow Crusade. It's okay. TBD.
It's okay. All right.
Yeah. Carlos, throwing it back to you for a brand new indie game, which I honestly don't know anything about. It's called The Wild at Heart, and I'm going to be honest with you. I may be generalizing here, but when I saw it, what I immediately thought of was Knights on Bikes. And I'm like, is that the same game? Because it looks very similar in terms of visual style.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell from subject matter, maybe even. So I was a little bit surprised to see that it was actually a totally different game. But why don't you tell us about The Wild at Heart?
Yeah, I saw the trailer a while ago, and I remember thinking the exact same thing. Knights on Bikes, is that what it was called? Knights and
Yeah.
Bikes or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And that was fun. Weirdly enough, I kind of bounced on that game after a while.
I
I
did too.
think, yeah, and I'm not bouncing on this one, and I'll tell you the difference because it really does come down to you can have a really cool art style, which you're all about. I know that.
100%. 100%.
Reviews. And then you can also have like fun gameplay at least or whatever. But if there's not something that's hooking you to keep doing it, especially in an adventure kind of story-based game, then you're going to bounce. And I feel like the Knights and Bikes, I just was like, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore, and I'm getting stickers, and I don't care,
Yeah, exactly.
This one I really like because it hits really close to home and almost too close to home. Because while you're correct, it does have the same art style, kind of cut out, cartoony.
Yeah, kind of papery, kind of
Yeah.
hand-drawn, kind of like, I don't know, middle schooler sort of a vibe to it.
But also like just excellent. Like
Yeah, it's
very
real
well
good.
done.
Yeah, it's good.
And by the way, the developer is called Moonlight Kids, which is a great name for a developer. I love that, Moonlight Kids. Published by Humble Games, which I guess is doing that a lot more often. I don't remember.
They've been
them doing
making
a
some
lot.
good selections lately. They got a pretty
Yeah.
good portfolio so far.
It's basically about you play as a kid, and I'll set up the beginning of the game because essentially in the beginning is where I started getting all these kind of touchstones of where like it reminded me of my childhood. So the kid is like getting ready to leave the house, and he's just kind of looking like picking up a bunch of stuff he's got to take with him on his adventure. They kind of just jump you right into it. And as he's picking stuff up, he picks up his Game Boy. Essentially, it's called something else, but it's a Game Boy. And then he's like looking through his chips and candy and stuff like that, and he sees pizza boxes, and it literally is the Pizza Hut logo, but it's like called something else,
Sure,
like
sure.
Pizza Barn. And it just felt like an 80s vibe. It felt like me as a kid in the 80s, like what I would see around my, messy bedroom and like, old school TVs, and also like a neglected household and like no one's there. And he's like, I wonder if, he'll even notice that I'm gone. And he's talking about his dad. And there's drinking involved. And I'm like, this is getting close to home over here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but in a good way. I mean, like, I appreciate when a game can go down a path that not just the developers had, but like other people have when they're playing it, and can, again, do something that even movies can't do in a way, where you get to literally play out different scenes that, might be from your past.
Yeah.
So that felt like that. And also he like grabbed a bunch of peanut butter and jellies and took them out, on his adventure. And I was like, I totally made peanut butter jellies, and they're like amazing. And now I want a peanut butter and jelly. So you take off on an adventure, and you learn right away that your mechanics are you can kick things, which isn't very powerful, and you have a vacuum, which is so Luigi's Mansion. So there's a couple different Nintendo games in this game. Luigi's Mansion's there because you have a vacuum that you can like vacuum up leaves, and you find different stuff. This game also has a Ratchet and Clank vibe because you're finding gears everywhere. Like when you break something and all these things fall out of it.
Like actual gears, like money?
Yeah, like little gear icons, and they're like resources.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that kind of element. So when you vacuum up stuff, you're finding things, and then you go into the woods and you start your adventure. And I might be telling you a lot of it, but it's kind of to set up the vibe and the fact that once you get to the woods, now it's like a totally different world where you find magical creatures and meet this mysterious person, and you can upgrade your gear, and it becomes like almost like, I don't want to say an RPG, but an adventure game where you're like leveling up and doing things.
So is it kind of like, I mean, maybe don't spoil this perhaps, but it kind of sounds like maybe this character is leaving a home life that's not so great, which I also definitely very strongly relate to, and then going out to the woods, and this is kind of like an escape from reality, perhaps.
Exactly.
Kind of
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I literally did that too, and we can talk about that. Go to the woods, and that's where I'll be my own person and fight wizards, maybe with sticks.
Yeah,
so
my drunk dad cannot yell at me in the woods because he's drunk.
Yes. And then really, really early on, which is why it's not a spoiler, and it's also, I think, a selling point, is you do get a flashback. Like you have a dream or something, and literally your dad's like in front of the TV drinking, and I'm like,
Sure.
oh, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
So, but they don't like lean too heavy on that. Like I played, I don't know, 5-6 hours or something now, and I'm like just doing puzzles. I'm just in the woods, like doing different things. But the reason why I like it, because me, I really don't like puzzles, is, again, the story. I want to know what happens. I want to help this mini version of me, like do whatever he needs to do. There's puzzles, there's different types of things you do, but the main mechanic that's really interesting is you meet essentially Pikmin in the woods. So like little creatures that are just like Pikmin, and you can like pick them up and throw them and make them do things, and they'll go collect resources for you. They'll fight monsters for you.
Do they travel around with you just like in Pikmin? Like they follow you around?
Totally.
Okay,
It's like so Pikmin. So it's like Pikmin meets Luigi's Mansion meets Knights on Bikes. Like that's what this game is, and it's really really fun. Like I kind of want more story now because I've been playing for a while and I've gotten a lot of really cool different lands and powers and stuff, but they haven't given me a ton of story, and I'm not sure if they're gonna shoehorn that at the end. But it got me into it and got me wanting to figure out what this character's arc was going to be about. So I really really like it. I mean, I think it does everything right. It doesn't really do anything wrong, and the puzzles that you do, you get challenged, but you figure it out at some point. So it's a really interesting mix.
Interesting. I'm going to check this one out. I think it's on Game Pass. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Yeah. No, it is.
Okay, so even more incentive to check it out. This sounds pretty cool. I'll have to check back in with you and see what you think. I mean, I'm guessing this is probably going to be on the quicker play side, right? Like it's probably not going to be a huge campaign.
Yeah, and again, like I said, why I might have dropped or noped out of other games like this is because I didn't care what that ending was,
Yeah.
And this one I really do. I'm like, it's again kind of reliving some past here. I'd like to see what he does. And the writing's funny, and the Pikmin mechanic is really cool. Like you can separate out the Pikmin and make them go like some go fight, some go build. So you get crafting resources and stuff. It's just a really interesting mix of styles, and so I dig it.
All right, sounds good. That is The Wild at Heart, put out by Humble Games, right?
Yep, and Moonlight Kids.
Moonlight Kids. All right, cool. I'm going to kind of continue on in the same sort of vibe, although with a very different kind of a game. It's called Stonefly. Just came out, I believe, literally today. I've had it for a couple of days with a pre-release copy given to me by the publisher. Full disclosure on that for the purposes of talking about it on this show, which I'm doing literally right now. This is a tough one to describe. It comes to us from Flight School, who are the people who made Creature in the Well. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm looking it up right now. I know that developer name.
Yeah, Creature in the Well was a pretty big indie hit, I don't know, a year or two back. I mean, maybe even further than that, I forget. It was kind of like the one where it combined pinball with dungeon crawling. It was a pretty cool concept. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is their next work, and kind of like that one, it is again pretty original take on some stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work, but I think it's really worth taking a look at. Basically, you play a girl who looks like, I guess, a human being-ish, but she's tiny. She is like the size of a bug, but that's normal. She lives with her dad, who is also the size of a bug, and I don't know, they're like in the woods or something somewhere, and everything around them is huge. Like the trees are huge, the rocks are huge, everything is huge. They're very small people. And how they get around is with mech suits that look like bugs that are the size of bugs, which are bigger than them.
I know, I'm watching the pictures as you say it, and it doesn't make sense, but it's really interesting.
None of it, like saying it out loud sounds like I don't even know what I'm talking about, but that is literally what's happening. You're a tiny person in a mech suit, which is actually looking like a bug, and you need to go do some stuff. So basically you go on this adventure, and what happens is you get in your bug mech suit, and it has like really unorthodox controls. I was really just trying to wrap my head around it, and I was struggling for a long time. So basically it hops and it glides, and it also dashes, and it sends out shockwaves to hit enemies. And also the thing of it though is like the way that you kill enemies, if you even kill them, is you got to knock them out first with your shockwave, and then you have to puff them with air and knock them off of whatever platform you're on.
Wait, do they have to be puffed up with air?
Yes, you have to puff them off the side. So you're like you fly around in your bug ship, you drop a shockwave, it rocks the beetles that are below you, they flip on their backs, you have to land, and then you, I guess with your wings, blow a puff of air to shoo them towards the edge of whatever platform you're on. So every time you're fighting in a sequence or something, you're on like a little platform with edges that you can fall off of, and so you're gliding, you're flying around in this little arena, you're dropping down to do puffs of air, and you're trying to knock everybody off of the platform, and more bugs show up, and so it's like a pretty involved process. It sounds interesting, but the thing that really kind of wrecks me with it is that when you do those puffs of air, which you have to do to get people off of the platform, which is how you make progress, your bug jumps back up in the air. And so it's really counterintuitive to me, because I would think that you would land your bug would stay planted, and then you could kind of like direct which way the wind is going. But every time you attack, you're also moving. And so you have to kind of like manage. I'm going vertical up and down. I am also moving in space forward and back. And also I'm trying to puff this guy off the edge with my wings. And so there's a lot going on in terms of physics and how your bug is moving. It's really strange, and it feels honestly like a bit much. I was really dying a lot, and I was just like, man, this is tough to control. I'm really kind of like, having a hard time coming to grips with this. But so that's part of the game, right? That's part of the game. That actual combat. The other part of the game, and there's story here, but I'm not going to get into it because it's not important for this purpose of this podcast. But there is a story. The other part of the game is that it's also kind of like a lot of grinding, which I found to be very unexpected and strange. When you start playing, your mech suit is just weak as shit. It is just made of fucking paper and tinfoil and scotch tape. Falls apart when one of the bugs looks at you funny, and it sucks. You die a lot. But every time you die, or every time you do something, it quote unquote teaches your pilot to make an upgrade. So like, let's say that you die 5 times in the row. Then she's like, oh, dying sucks. I'm going to like do something to increase the strength of my health bar. And then an upgrade unlocks, right? Or she'll be like, oh, I just puffed 5 beetles off of the edge. That gives me an idea for an even stronger puffer. And then you like build one when you get back to base or whatever, right? So like that's how the game goes, but you have to like earn stuff, materials, as you're fighting these bugs. And then it's not enough the first time. Like you got to go back like a couple times to earn enough stuff. So you've got this weird balance of like platformy, floaty combat, but you're also grinding out materials to make your bug mech suit stronger.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You said you had no roguelikes on this podcast, but this sounds like that.
It is not a roguelike though. Like it's totally not. Like it's just a grind wheel where you're just going back to the same area. The same enemies show up in the same location every single time. So you already know what's going to be there when you get back there. You're just rerunning the same level to just get more stuff.
That sounds like a roguelike to me.
I mean, you don't lose anything ever. You don't get back set to 0. There's no corpse run. There's nothing like that. It's just like you just play the level until you can survive the level, then you keep going.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I guess ish, but I don't really see it as a roguelike because you don't get set back. You don't lose anything. It's just, oh, I died again. Well, I got to go back and get 5 more of this material. Oh, I died again. Got to go back.
Right, but that's not selling me on it at all.
I mean, it's not selling me on it either, to be honest with you. It's weird because, like when I turned on the game, right? Turn on the game. The music is great. Music kicks in. You've got these really nice watercolor, artistic, like really cute art. The girl, your main character, looks really appealing. Like the world is like really colorful. I'm like, oh man, it feels like someone's giving me a hug right now. Like it feels so warm and welcoming in this game. Like oh man, I just feel like I'm in, right? And then you get to the combat, and the combat is like surprisingly much more difficult and weird than you expect it to be. And then you're on a grind loop where you're like, I gotta just do this level like 4 times to survive it because I'm too weak. I'm like, dude, those two things don't go together. Like the hug is over. I don't feel like I'm being hugged anymore.
Is over. Well, hold on. Write this down right now. That's the name of this podcast. That's the name of this podcast. The hug is over.
I'm writing it down.
Oh my goodness, that is funny, and I can see that because you just describing like how to move. It's like the movement itself and some of the combat.
Oh man,
it's just too much, especially for the game because I looked at the art and it is really cool looking. And they say they're selling the soundtrack, so it must be amazing.
The soundtrack is amazing. I will say that the music is great.
Okay,
but it's weird too because the other part of this game that is also strange is that it's like half of me really likes it. I like bugs. I like mech suits. I like being a small person in a big world. Like the visuals are great. Music is great. Like all that is like yes. But I don't like the grind. I think the combat feels awkward. The control feels awkward. And it's really tough for me to feel a sense of progress because in these levels, you're so small and the level design is really weird. It's very tough to keep your bearings. And so the developers clearly knew this because there's a button, which is the which way am I supposed to go button. Every time you're lost, which will be often, you hit the button and then like a little gust of wind or little lights or something will pop up and say, oh, you need to go east or you need to go west or whatever because you just don't know. Like there's no way for you to know which way you're supposed to go. So I'm constantly hitting the which way do I go button because the level design is not communicating to me what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's sometimes hard to tell which platforms you can be on and which ones are background. And I feel like this idea is like really golden, but like the actual reality of what they've done with it is maybe not quite there yet. So
Yeah.
I'm still playing it. I feel like the hug is definitely over, but I feel like maybe there will be a hug later on, perhaps.
A
I'm kind of
second
shooting
hug.
for that. There might be a
Yeah.
second hug. But there's a lot of really strange things happening, and I can't say that I'm 100% down with what I'm seeing so far. So I'm about 50-50 on it right now, but I am staying in to see where it goes. And I mean, we'll see what happens. I'll probably report back later.
Interesting that Mutazione, am I saying that right?
Mutazione.
Mutazione is on the same podcast because that's a hug for me. I felt like that was a hug, even though it was
Oh,
a sad
yeah.
hug. It was a
Yeah.
sad hug at times, but
Absolutely.
all right.
And it's interesting. We've picked 3 games which are very strong in the same spectrum in
I
terms of
know,
art.
and we never planned
Mutazione.
any of this.
We
never
don't. Mutazione,
yeah.
The Wild at Heart, Stonefly. Those are all in the same basket in terms of visuals.
Yeah. Well, we might carry it on too with one more thing I'm going to talk about later.
Okay. Well, let's
Or
see.
now.
Or
Or
now.
when.
Kicking it back to you, Carlos. Let's talk about. You got 2 more things. I've got one more thing. Let's talk about Biomutant. You talked about it a lot. You made a video, which I saw and retweeted. I know
Thank
that you
you.
were definitely down into it, liking it, thumbs upping it. How are you right now? That's like I don't know, a week or so since last time we talked about it. You still liking it?
Yeah, I am, and it is a good segue because it is another kind of a hug. Like I've mentioned on the video that I did on my YouTube channel, and then also I just did a podcast with January and on Twitch streamer that I know, and we talked about it as well. It is kind of a hug in that way because you're playing furry creatures, similar to some of the other games. It doesn't really matter totally that you're a furry creature. You could be a short little action adventure guy. But what's cool about it, again, similar to the other games, is that because you are like different looking and you have this kind of different aesthetic in the whole land because it's not humans running around, it is kind of a hug and it's relaxing and the game feels like Ratchet and Clank meets an RPG. And that's just a fun thing to jump into because the other game I'll talk about in a second, Mass Effect, playing that, it's all stakes are high. Everything's at stake. People are dying, people are living, aliens. And then this one's like, I'm just running around a very big open world, actually, and, making a mech suit all of a sudden. And I'm upgrading my weapons with like saw blades on them. And I got new powers all of a sudden. There's like so many new powers. Now I can dash and there's fire behind me. It just seems like really open. Not open-ended, but like there's just so many different little things you can do with the gameplay that it isn't just a hack and slash. There's just a lot of different new things you learn all the time because you're leveling up in this game all the time too. I just really, really like it. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the negative is. The only negative that I think I mentioned is the narrator. Where the narrator, did we talk about this last time?
We did talk about it, yes.
The narrator talks for all the characters, and I just don't see the point in that. I don't know what kind of artistic
It's a
style
really
that
strange
was.
choice, yeah.
It really is. And I like the narrator. I just think that he should have jumped in at times. So what I do is I just skip his narration and just read the text and kind of get the idea. So that's the only thing I'm kind of like, on the fence with. But in general, yeah, it's chill. Oh, I'll say one other negative thing is just because I don't like puzzles. We've talked about that. There's a lot of puzzles in this game, but they're thankfully very easy. But I just don't know why they're even here. They're like, line up the colors with the other colors. I just wonder why people put those in games sometimes. Like,
I mean, maybe they just feel like they need to offer you a variety of things to do. I mean, maybe they got some players who are not so keen on the combat. They want some puzzles. Is it like 50% combat, 50% puzzles, or what mix are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't really seem to fit. I feel like, just going out on a limb here, they might have had a more elaborate idea for puzzles, and maybe they just kept the bare bones version of it because it's like, 10%, 15%. Puzzles.
Oh, okay. Just
yeah,
it's like it's seasoning really, here and there. Okay.
Yeah, it's really about going around and exploring this kind of almost Fallout, world, or Last of Us Part 2 or whatever. And yeah, the fun is in taking over the camps. And back to the point about Far Cry. Why do I like playing Far Cry games? It's similar to this. It's like, why do I like playing Fable games? It's like a mix of Fable with an RPG where you're taking over a bunch of camps and getting new shit. So it's my relaxation thing. I actually been playing both this and Mass Effect, which we'll talk about in a second, and it's much more relaxing than any other game I'm playing.
Excellent. All right, cool. Glad to hear that you are vibing with the Biomutant. All
I
right, cool.
am vibing with the Biomutant.
All right, now you also are going to talk about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We've talked about this a couple times. I believe Corey brought it up, and then you brought it up last episode. So let's do a quick check-in. Where are you in the series, and what are your current thoughts?
So someone on Twitter, Lelena, actually, a friend of the show, said you got problems. Like, how are you finishing these games so quick? Because I finished 2 already.
Blew through it, huh?
Yeah, holy crap. And again, when you're like invested, especially now I have the character, I'm playing it all at the same time, which is like, when people binge watch shows, they're like, I need to know the through line story. And like I told you, I had never played 2 and 3. I know it's
That's
a
right.
guilty
That's
thing
right.
or whatever it's
Very,
called.
very dark skeleton in that closet.
Yes. But, I had reasons because, again, the combat and the RPG-ness is weird in 2, and it's more Gears of War like we talked about.
Yep.
And I'm very happy that I beat 2, though, because when I got near the end, I stopped doing side missions. I just really needed to know the story bit. You told me that I was going to be really, really disappointed or something weird was coming or something.
No, the mission is awesome, but the last boss is stupid.
Right, but here's the thing, and this is how we differ.
You can't tell me the last boss was cool.
No, it wasn't cool, but
Okay.
I don't care. Like, we differ because if it's, you know how much you had to go through to get to that last thing?
Yes.
I was like very happy that it was like, shoot the things. And I was like, cool, I want this to be over.
Well, what did you? What? Okay, so let's walk it back for like one
minor
step
spoiler.
here.
Should we say minor spoiler right now?
No. Don't give me spoilers because there's a lot of people playing this for the first time. We shouldn't spoil anything. But I will
Okay.
say, let me ask you just real briefly.
Okay.
Talking about the final mission in Mass Effect 2, and not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Like that last mission is super amazing. I love every minute of it. It's super tense. It's exciting.
You mean without saying anything, on the way to the thing?
On the way to the
Yeah,
stupid
okay.
last boss. Everything before that.
Yep.
What did you think of that mission? Since you had never played Mass Effect 2 before, what did you think of that mission?
It was fine. I don't think it was like the best thing. I kept hearing your words in my head.
It was fine. It was just fine. Really?
Yeah, it really was. Because I don't know. I had played. Maybe it's because I'm playing them back to back, and I played so many missions. They kind of blur together, and I don't feel like. I feel like other ones in 2 that I liked better. Actually,
that is bananas. That is crazy. Are we even talking about the same game? That is
well,
so
you know what? We need to do it in spoiler talk, and we'll do it in another podcast because
we'll have to. Yeah, I don't
maybe
want to
we're
spoil it
not
for people.
aligned on the mission. But I think I know what the mission is, and it was pretty good. But anyways, the final boss, I was happy that it was over. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was happy it was over too. It was stupid.
Anyways, so I'm playing 3, and I'm already pretty far in it, and it's just really good, But I will say this only negative thing about 3, real quick, in my check-in, is the upgrades. I mean, they kept the ammo from 2, which I don't like. So you have to have the ammo.
Same.
They doubled down on the weird mechanic that I don't think anyone will ever do again, where you find upgrades. You just find upgrades and loot, but like you don't earn things. I feel like lots of times you don't earn things. This game, Mass Effect 2 and 3, are about finding random shit and then paying for it with money. And it just feels weird. Like you can pay for so many different random things in Mass Effect, again, I'll say 2 and 3, that you find in shops and stuff. And you're like, Carlos, that's what RPGs are. No, it's different. And if you know what I mean, because it's like, I found a random thing that means I have more ammo now. Okay, if I have 10,000 credits, I can get it. Oh, now I found another random thing that means our armor is better. Wait, whose armor? Everybody's.
So I'm not playing these right now. My wife hasn't gotten to Mass Effect 2. She took a pause. She's going to play it, but she played something else in the middle. So are you saying that like you find items in the world, but then once you get that item, it just unlocks it in the shop? Is that what you mean?
It's like a combination of things. Some things you find in the shop, you just have to have the money for, right?
Sure.
But again, they're not like direct upgrades sometimes. Like normally when you have a video game, especially an RPG, you're like, I want to level up my sword or my gun. This is like it levels up your whole squad's thing.
Sure.
And that's
weird.
A group upgrade. And then also you'll find things, which means, yes, they're unlocked, but you still have to pay for them in resources, right? Or
so you
credits.
Gotta craft them or something, maybe.
Yeah. And anyways, it just feels bulky and clunky, and I don't like that part of it at all. Like I never feel. Now I'm really going off. I never feel in control of my destiny like I did in Mass Effect 1.
Whoa, that got heavy real quick.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious.
That took
And
a turn.
watch, I'm going to do a hot take number 2. I feel better in my progression and my control of my own destiny in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh man,
I really do, because 2 and 3, and you'll see when your wife plays them, it just feels like it's like, oh, I guess all of our team's better for this thing, or now I have 10% evasion for everybody.
I mean, isn't that a good thing though? Like, you want all your team to be better.
It doesn't feel like you have control over your loadout, and I don't like it, and I never will. And I'm just now I want to finish 3 because I'm like, the mechanics have really bothered me, which I was surprised.
I agree with you that I mean, just in my misty memory, because I remember going through this, when it was new. And I do remember preferring having like the specifics of Mass Effect 1 where, it was more granular. I know some people got upset about, oh, there's too much stuff in your inventory and it's a hassle to clear out your inventory and stuff. I mean, I get all that. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I've agreed. But I do like, being able to tweak stuff. I am a tweaker when it comes to like, stats and armor and bonuses and stuff. So I could see how that's maybe a little bit too simplified. I mean, I do feel like in general, the series kind of went a little bit too actiony for me. I wish it would had retained a little bit more of the RPG side. So from what I can remember, I think I pretty much agree with you. But I'll have to take a close look at that when my wife starts up Mass Effect 2. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Right, because here's the thing. I think, with new eyes, and like we've been like covering games for a long time, and whenever this came out in 2012, or one of them was 2008 or 9, and the last one's 2012. So that's a while ago,
Yeah.
And I think that I bet you're going to look at it and see what I'm talking about, because you just don't feel like you have control over your characters. And the last thing I'll say about it that I also don't like, which is now turned into a negative thing.
I was going to say, wow.
I'm still going to finish it because I like the story a lot, right? We know that. I like the side missions. Is the AI is really bad. It's not just it's bad in the fact that it gets stuck, which it does, but it doesn't help me. Like, I literally maxed out the characters in 2, and I was in the last mission, the last one that you love so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't feel like I brought Garrus and Jack with me. I romanced Jack, by the way. And so me and Jack and Garrus were out doing our thing, and they're all maxed out, man. Like, super sniper rifles, everything. And I'm still the one killing everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can control their biotics, which I love the biotics, by the way, in this game. Where you can make them do special moves, but I had to choose that for them. Like, they're doing it sometimes, but man, this is a one-player game.
Did you maybe need to like adjust their AI or something? Because there's choices.
I adjusted the shit out of all
Did
the
you?
AIs, yeah, dude. And now I'm in 3, and it's the same thing all over again. I was in a new mission, and I was like, oh, I should make this a sketch. Actually, we get back to the base. We killed all the bad guys, and I go, so how many did you guys get? Oh, I got one. Oh, how much did you get, Jack? Oh, I got a couple. Oh, I got 97.
Yeah. They got to make you feel like a hero, right? It doesn't feel good if you're walking through a level and your AI people take out everybody.
No, that's not acceptable. No, I don't agree with that. I would rather us swoop through. And by the way, I'm sorry this is going so long, but Dragon Age, I think, did this. I think they figured it out in one of the Dragon Age games. Because I don't mind if my characters are badass and they go, killing a bunch of simple guards. Why not? Anyway, sorry, that sounds negative. I love the series. I'm loving.
I mean, that's clearly a big thumbs down from Carlos. He's saying, "Do not buy."
I'm saying, don't buy Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Do not buy. Yeah. And I love the series, and I'm really excited to finish it. And I'm probably halfway through 3 already, so I'll finish it. I'll wrap it up. We'll do maybe a spoiler cast sometime.
Cool. All right, one final game, and then we will wrap it up here. Recently, Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries came to the Xbox X. I believe it's on Game Pass. It is a spin-off of the BattleTech tabletop game. Have you ever played BattleTech in real life, Carlos?
In real life?
Yeah, like tabletop with miniatures and stuff.
Oh, I didn't play it on tabletop, no.
Oh, okay. Well, there's been a number of games over the years that have dipped into that IP, but it started life as a tabletop game, which is where I know of it. I had the miniatures, played with some friends back in the day, good times. And there's been a number of games over the years, mostly PC, but there have been a couple console games here and there. This is the latest, coming from, I believe it's Piranha Games. And like I said, it's on Xbox Game Pass, I believe. So in this game, you are you're running an independent business. You are a mercenary. And you have a mech suit, giant mech suit, that you are piloting You want to get hired out to do jobs. People pay you for jobs. You use that money to buy more mech suits and to hire more pilots. You can eventually have a team of 4 who go out with you. Controls either from first person or third person perspective. You can change that to your preference, which I think is great. I love having the option. And you just kind of like build a team of robots and go out and do missions. There is a story, but I don't think it means anything. I've already forgotten what the story is. There's no real drama. This is all about the robots and going out and doing missions. So it's kind of cool because number one, I'm already familiar with the IP, so I have some nostalgia for it, which is nice. Like booting up the game, I'm looking at like I don't know, there's like 150 different mech suits, and I'm like, oh man, I remember most of these. I had some miniatures of these guys before, and I remember this one, and oh, I always wanted this one, and it's kind of cool to kind of go back and
Nostalgia.
see. Yeah, nostalgia definitely it counts for a lot here. Um, but as far as actually playing the game goes, at first I was really high on it. I'm like, man, this is great. I love third-person action. Got this cool robot I'm stomping around with, and I'm shooting other robots and lasers and explosions, and this is all my jam, and this is great. I also, like I said earlier, I'm a tweaker when it comes to gear. Like I like you can fix like how much armor's on your guy, how much they weigh, which weapons they have, how much ammo they carry. Like, you can play with all that stuff in the menus. It's pretty deep and granular. So if you like digging into that stuff, you don't have to. You can just pilot them stock if you want to. But if you want to get in and tweak all that stuff, you can, which I think is great. You can repaint them and all the all the customization is really neat. So I was really high on it for a couple days, but as the game went on, it started to lose its luster for me a little bit. I think the biggest thing is number one, the story doesn't mean anything. The story is just like blah. Like it's there's no dramatic stakes whatsoever. Um, Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that all of the missions are procedurally generated, which is not great. I'm not a big
Hmm.
fan of proc gen when it comes to stuff like this. Like if you're just doing bonus missions. Like if you just need to fill your game full of content, right? Like if you have a campaign, the campaign is 10 hours and you want to give your players another 10 hours, you can, fill in some procedural generation stuff. They can go grind for money and parts and whatever, and that's cool. But if every mission is procedurally generated, that's boring after a while because there's only so much that you can do. And I will go to my grave saying that hand crafted levels are always better than procedural generated because you're crafting for an experience, you're crafting for pacing, you're crafting for surprise.
Yeah.
It's an art form. Like it's a really well done level by someone who knows what they're doing is great. A procedural level, I mean, at best they're like okay because there's only so many parts you can do, right? So what ended up happening was I got my mech suits. I'm thinking this is cool. Start doing some jobs, and it's like third person action. So you're stomping around a field, you're shooting missiles, shooting lasers, blowing up other robots, blow them all up, get your money, go back to base. Cool, cool, cool. But then after a while, it's like I just feel like I'm doing the same mission over and over and over. Like the landscape might be red, the landscape might be green, it might be blue, but it still feels like the same thing. Maybe there's weather effects, maybe there's not, but it just kind of feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over, and it started to feel kind of like a grind, and not a grind in the good way either. Because I mean, there is value in earning money, building up your roster of mechs, like getting slowly stronger. I mean, I think that's appealing, and I know you like a good power curve as well. I know you like to grind and feel stronger. That's an appealing thing for people. But I just feel like it's taking a really long time to get more mechs, and I feel like I'm not necessarily getting stronger, and I'm kind of doing the same missions over and over. And I suspect that this is maybe like a 50 or like 100-hour kind of a journey, and I'm not sure that I'm down for that, especially when the
Hmm.
combat starts to feel so samey. Like, and it's like it sucks because on the one hand, when I see the mechs walking around, I'm like, this is cool, I love this, but at the same time, gameplay wise, it's kind of falling flat for me. The AI in the game is not great. I feel like the battles kind of play out the same every single time. I feel like the battles are all vaguely the same battle, and it's kind of losing me, even though I was really so keen on it at first. So I'm still playing like maybe like one or two missions a day, but I got to be honest, the polish is really wearing off of this one.
Wow, that doesn't sound like a glowing review then. And
Yeah,
yeah, especially if you don't have a story to kind of be excited about. And because procedurally generated can work if you're like again a means to an end, right? And you're trying
right,
to
right.
figure out what the story is. But if you don't even care about that, then that's
Yeah, I mean the story is like, oh yeah, you make some money and become successful. Okay, cool. I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I think that just like if it was more about like getting in and getting more mechs really quickly and kind of like reducing all the wait times and not so much of a grind, but kind of just like letting you in there, maybe have some crafted levels that maybe you get it to the level, you get a new mech. and get to the end of this level, you get some whole bunch of money. And if they kind of paced it more where you are in a campaign, and then if you could do the grind stuff if you wanted to, like that's the ultimate design, right? But I feel like I'm stuck on the grind right now, and it's not enough to maybe keep me going. I feel like I'm drying out on this one.
It's funny. I was really, really worried, or I had like a whole idea of a story of why this game might not be great, because I thought it was Piranha Bytes, the makers of Elix, who made this, but it is not. Man. It is Piranha Games, and they are different.
Totally different. Elix is awesome.
Yeah.
Mechwarrior 5 has. I mean, there's some cool bits to it, but I think there's some issues also.
I just heard that Elix 2 was being delayed because that some of the team was working on something else, and that's why I started thinking that. But by the way, let's both get excited for Elix 2 because that's definitely in development right now. So.
Oh my god, I am excited for that. I also need to get back and finish Elix. I was so close to the end of that.
You didn't finish it. Holy
I was so close,
bonkers.
Dude. I was like 2 missions away from the end, and then I had some really hardcore review responsibilities I had to jump on, and I'm like, okay, pause, and I'm like, I'll come back to it. And then I just one thing led to another, and before you know it, a year's gone by. I love Elix. It's amazing, and I'm so close to the end. I gotta just get back to it.
My life is changed put upside down. I don't know how to say that. It's been shaken upside down. I don't know how to process. You need to finish that before, soon.
I know. I gotta come back to it. It's on my list. It's on my short list of games that I need to get back to. Elix is on that list. I love Elix. Right. It's great.
All right.
Yeah. All right, that is Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries. Still playing it, but I feel like the gas is running out. I suspect I will not be playing it next week. So there you go. That is my review. And that, my friends,
is a show.
Before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to people who have retweeted us in the last week. Always grateful for the retweets when the new show goes up. Big shout out to Glasses Gamers.
Thank you.
Stormkiller72, our hero, and Adderblack39. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Really appreciate all the RTs and all the support on social media. Yep. And that's it. That's the show. But before we go, the usual ask. We'd love to get your questions and comments. Of course, you can hit us up, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter @sovideogames, but you can hit us up individually. Carlos, where are we directing people this week?
Yeah, hit me up on that TikTok @VideoGameSketch on TikTok.
All right, do that and make that voice when you do it.
Don't do that voice ever again. I'm not going to do that voice ever again.
As for me, the usual stuff, Twitter, Instagram, it's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And this is going to do it for episode 235. Thank you again for joining us here on So Video Games, and we'll see you next Friday. But in the meantime, this is bye from Brad.
And bye from Carlos. Said weird.